Good. So, hey everyone, this is Marcel Allen. I'm here today with Stacy Fisher, who is the founder of Living Up and the author of a really cool book called The Lifestyle Designer. So, she's a life coach where she really helps people design a life that they want to be living. Is that right, Stacy?
You said it.
Yeah. So, tell me more about your journey. How did you get to the point where you were a coach and helping people really navigate these 8 dimensions?
Yeah, so I have about 20 years of experience in healthcare. I'm a registered dietitian.
Mhm.
And in that time, I've just learned a lot about human behavior and human nature. And being well and being healthy has a lot more to do with just what you put in your mouth, right? Like it's
Right?
more about eating, more than just about eating. And I went through a really rough period in my life where my marriage was ending, and I just started to have all of these things like start to happen to my health. And I realized that there wasn't enough vegetables in the world that was going to fix that, my well-being at that part of my life. So this kind of came to me, my 8 dimensional self-care framework that I designed came to me in the middle of the night. I literally woke up at like 2 a.m. or whatever and went into my office and sketched out this framework. And essentially, I just knew that there was a lot more to our whole holistic picture of well-being. And
Mhm.
you and I think we're going to talk about the financial dimension today
Mhm.
because it really is such a big piece of the bigger picture of our well-being.
Yeah, well, and I love it anytime someone can really stretch their muscles as a thought leader to break down this big abstract idea into multiple elements. And so that was when I first met you. I was so drawn by your 8 dimensions of self-care infographic. I was like, oh my gosh, she gets it, right? Like way more than anybody else I've ever met. And I think visuals are a really powerful way to really showcase, the net depth and breadth of our knowledge. And so let's talk about that. In this, you've got these 8 dimensions. How did you know that the financial dimension was important for self-care? Because that's not normally what comes up when we hear self-care. We think bubble bath or, get our toes done or whatever with a pedicure. But how did you know that the financial dimension was part of that the well-being?
Yeah, so again, going back to my experience working in healthcare and helping people change their behaviors
Hmm.
with regards to eating, something that came up over and over again was the obstacle of financial resources. And so I would
Hmm.
often hear that as a reason why people couldn't
Yeah,
make changes. And so
interesting.
when you start to look at all of the things that factor into how you take care of yourself, from going to the doctor to, moving your body and exercising, you have to look at all of the pieces,
Yeah.
all of your resources, and finances are a pretty big one, actually.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was joking when I was talking about the cash creator, which is one of the circles I introduced in Financial Joy. I'm like, why do we look at two of our most valuable resources, time and money, in two completely different like trackers, right? So I was trying to blend those two with what I was creating, but I wanted to see. So does your audience? I know you do a lot of coaching with women and really powerful executives too, from what it sounds like. But do they tend to embrace this dimension, or do they kind of like freak out when you get into the money talk?
I don't think anyone's ever freaked out, but we all
Hmm.
carry a lot of different emotions and things bubble up when we talk about this. Like,
Right?
I'm not a fan of math. I'm just going to tell you, I cried through most of my grade school and probably up through high school, even. And so I have realized I have to outsource some of that. I pay people who are really good at their jobs and what their gifts are. And I do what I'm comfortable with, and I delegate the rest. So I find that people do come from all different backgrounds, Marcel,
Hmm.
and the cool thing about self-care is it really doesn't matter where you are when you come into it, right?
Hmm.
Because it you could have zero knowledge and you could be well versed in
Hmm.
investments, and you still have work to do either maintaining that balance or
Hmm.
learning more about how to get there. So
Yeah.
I think people come from a lot of different places when it
Okay,
comes to
good.
money.
So it sounds like they've been pretty open though, like they're not dismissing it, because I I tend to find people that want to put their head in the sand and not look at it. And I'm like, no, ladies, it's okay. It tells us information, and that information empowers us to make decisions. But sometimes it is really tricky to get, or has been for me, and I'm working on making it more fun for folks, but to really embrace it and pay attention. So what do you think about this? Do you think you can have financial self-care without budgeting?
Such a great question. You know, I think that word is kind of like the E word, the exercise word for some people, or I mean, it brings up a whole lot of ideas. And as you have very well laid out in your book, budgeting can look very different. It can look however you want it to look. It can be a spreadsheet, it can be a flower arrangement, right?
Right?
You did such a great job with changing the way it feels to do the
Mhm.
budgeting work. So I think just like a lot of things, we have to get around the word itself
Mhm.
and get to what makes sense. And a lot of times the work that I do with individuals is like we just rename stuff.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
rename goals. If your goal is like exercise for 3 days a week, da 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 da, who wants to do that? No. We have to make it more fun and more aligned with who that person is.
Mhm.
So, can you have self care without budgeting? You probably have to have some way to manage your money, but maybe you don't call it budgeting.
Yeah. I like that. So will you share real quick? So we reconnected a couple of weeks ago at your retreat, which was wonderful. And you said to me about the fitness thing, you says, running 3 times a week didn't get me excited, but I get excited to be, what was it, sexy AF? Like,
Yeah.
I love that. I
I,
mean,
I, I forgot you were at that
I
particular retreat, but it's so funny.
that
We
made me
do have
happy.
to rephrase how we're thinking about our goals. Like if they don't get you excited and you don't want to get out of bed in the morning to go do your budget, then you got to change it up. You have to
Mhm.
change it to something else that really makes you feel good when you are
Yeah.
working toward that goal.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I think it's great to reframe it because that phrase is not really attractive to most people. So it's like, how do you make it desirable and exciting and fresh and fun? Okay, so last question I have for you is, where do you think financial self care fits into the financial joy scale that I had written about in the book? And I'll show it here real quick. Um, and basically, we're looking at two types of, like, knowledge is on the top, right? If you're foolish, you don't know, right? Whereas on the right, you have intelligence. And then on the bottom, this is more our state of being. Are we being a burden or in chaos, or do we feel calm and generous? So where might you say that financial self-care fits, or does it fit everywhere? Like, where
I
do you
think it
think?
fits everywhere. You took the words right out of my mouth. I really think that in all of the eight areas that I've identified, and some
Mhm.
people have developed very similar frameworks that have different words to describe those areas. But I think what we have to remember is that all of us are coming into taking care of ourselves in all of these different areas. And you might be at the very beginning, like you might be right at the starting line. You might
Mhm.
be a 20 something, just graduated college, or you could be a retired uh, woman who is all of a sudden left with having to manage finances that you never had to ever before. So, I mean, I think because people come into the curiosity stage of wanting to grow their knowledge and feel better about it, which I think you've done beautifully with that. Like, it is about knowledge and it's about how you feel.
Mhm.
They are so interconnected. And I think it lives everywhere
Yeah.
because you have to know where you are and where you want to be. So yeah, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because we can't just have, we have to feel. And that state of being is just as powerful as the actual having. And people sometimes, we get lost in that. And it's okay to know that you may have and also not feel, or you may feel great and not have. And there are tactics, like you spell it in your book. There are different ways, different habits, different routines, different, just that daily waking up and making a choice. How do I feel today? Where do I want to focus my energy? Like, that is a powerful thing to move anyone forward. So I know I just explained a little bit about your 8 care, what you talk about in your classes. So where can people learn more about how they can get excited about their 8 dimensions of self-care and how they can maybe take their life if it's a little bit off balance, or just maybe they're just tired all the time, or maybe they just want to feel better. Where can they learn more about you and living up?
So livingup.com, it has two P's. Livingupp.com is it's all about creating more ease and better health. Everything that I do has deep roots in self-care, and it's all about how can we simplify our lives and really, live easier and healthier lives. So that's a great place to start if you're thinking that something needs to change. If, I often say, if you feel like it's time to do life differently, then it really does help to go inward and take a look at your self-care, because it might just be that you have neglected certain areas of your life for a long period of time and they're starting to show up. So the more, you can get back to creating some balance and some symmetry in your life, it automatically gets easier. So
Yes. Well, please go to livingup.com and learn more, because I love what Stacy is doing in the world. I think it's super, super important and even essential that women and men pay attention to how do they care for themselves. And it's not just go take a bubble bath, right? Although I'm craving one of those right now because it's very hot here today in Spark. But the idea is we have control over how we feel and how we show up. And you've broken it down so just systematically for people to really pay attention and advance at whatever, I guess, speed or level they want to. So thank you so much, Stacy, for just writing the book, for leading this great organization where you're helping thousands of people. I appreciate you in the world, and I want to encourage you to stay remarkable. So thank you so much.
thank you for having me, Marcel.
You're welcome. Bye for now.
Bye.